All right, guys, Creed has a new fragrance, and I am so dying to get my nose on this fragrance. I'm very, very excited for it, and it comes after Oud Zarian, created by Cecile Zarokian. We've got a new fragrance by Creed called Wild Vetiver, and it's created by Nicolas Bonneville. So I haven't got my nose on this. I'm very excited for this one, not only because I do enjoy vetiver. I've gotten bored of it. This one sounds a bit exciting because it is a floral aromatic take on vetiver. But also seasonally, I love wearing vetiver, especially when it's a bit muggy and damp out with rain. I think vetiver shines like really perfectly in that weather. So I'm really, really curious to get my nose on this fragrance. As I said, I'm very, very excited for it. Are you looking forward to this fragrance as well, or have you gotten your nose on it? What are your thoughts on Creed's latest Wild Vetiver? Let me know, add a comment below. This is now probably after two other vetiver fragrances. I never wore original vetiver. I've always enjoyed it, but I felt like it wasn't really a true rooty, earthy vetiver. Then there's also the Geranium vetiver created by Julien Rascanet, which I am really, really obsessed with, really love it. I thought it was discontinued, but I looked it up recently and it's not. And also, I'm doing a big, very long form deep dive video on vetiver fragrances. And that video, by the time this video airs, would have already aired. What I'm going to do is do the unboxing here, test it out for you, stop this review, shoot my 3-hour-long deep dive video on vetiver fragrances, and come back and wrap up my thoughts on Creed's Wild Vetiver. So again, let me know if you've already gotten your nose on Creed's Wild Vetiver. There's a few negatives going for this. It's extremely outrageously highly priced, $510 for 100 ml, but I'm not holding my breath either, but I'm very, very excited for this fragrance because I have heard a few folks say it's actually really great. I read comments, by the way, and those come in, and some do mention that it smells great. So that's kind of why I got excited, because normally I don't usually do full reviews on brand new Creed fragrances. So I'm excited and I hope I won't be disappointed. So it's a 2026 launch. Nicolas Bonneville is the perfumer. I would call this a woody floral aromatic fragrance. It's unisex, and as I said, the price is 100 ml for $510. And we also have a 50 ml version for $380. And I was actually thinking today, as I was putting the notes down together, why do they always price the 50 mls higher? It's just bottle size, right? Because they kind of want you to get the larger size, but I think they should do it equally. So this should be somewhere around $260, not $380. Because when you buy the 100 ml for $510 and you split it into two, that's what you get. But anyway, this is something that I think the brands have done for a long time, price the 50 ml higher, and then you think about it and you go, okay, you get almost double the juice for less than double the price or whatever. So let's go ahead and open this up. Creed's Wild Vetiver. Let me know if you're a fan of Creed. Do you buy Creed full retail, or do you buy Creed discounted? Let me know. I do have to say, I reported on this in a new fragrances video. And in that video also, I was very, very excited for this. And I also really think the bottle color is gorgeous. And it totally fits spring. And I think maybe it's appropriate to release green-leaning fragrances in the springtime. But as I was looking up the notes on the Creed website, it doesn't seem to be leaning super green. Aromatic, yes. Spicy, yes. Floral, yes. And vetiver in general does have that kind of green tinge, but it's more grassy, woody, earthy rather than super green. So maybe it's inappropriately put into I should say it's in the wrong color, but let's go ahead and smell. Let me know also, as I said, if you've gotten your nose on it. Do you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts? Are you a Creed lover? What is your most favorite Creed fragrance? Wow, I got a whiff of this fragrance before I put the test strip to my nose. For some reason, it reminded me a little bit of something very floral and super duper floral and rosy and dewy. So the notes break down for Wild Vetiver. At the top, we've got Timur berry or Timur pepper, bergamot, pink pepper. Then we've got rose centifolia, geranium, and blackcurrant buds for the heart notes. And then in the base notes, we've got vetiver, cedarwood, and amberwood. I must say, this is very, very floral. They weren't lying or kidding when they wrote woody floral on the Creed website. I added the aromatic in there because, you know, you've got geranium here, and vetiver in general is a kind of an aromatic woody note. So I added that myself, but this is really, really floral. But honestly, it's a kind of a dewy, wet, lightly fruity take on rose. And I should have called this wild rose rather than wild vetiver. I think guys might think this is probably feminine leaning because of the rose. Because to me, I didn't get much of the spice up top and the citrus, although it's very fresh. It went right to the rose, which is in the heart. And geranium is also there, which kind of contributes to the rosiness of the rose because they do bring out rosiness from the geranium. It gives it a bit more of a herbal aromatic spiciness with a rosy twist. But this is like a very dewy, wet rose, like rained on, which is what I was explaining earlier. I like the idea of wearing vetiver when it's a bit humid, a little muggy, I should say, and kind of a cold breeze, but wet and rainy. For me, vetiver fragrances shine in that kind of an environment. This is going to be perfect in the summer, I think. This is more summer appropriate. I think the rosiness is kind of slowly fading. It's getting a bit more spicy. Since the rose dominated as soon as you sprayed it, this is definitely pretty much the main character here, the main note. Wild vetiver, wild rose. No, for me, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous rose fragrance. Super gorgeous. It is definitely leaning feminine, but it's super duper gorgeous. Very pretty. All right, we're going to spray that on skin. I'm not getting much vetiver though. Okay, let's see how it develops on skin. So I am going to pause the video and I'm going to shoot a vetiver fragrances deep dive. As I was saying earlier, by the time this video review for Creed's Wild Vetiver airs, the vetiver deep dive would have already aired, and I'm actually giving my thoughts on this in that video as well. So if you're curious to catch the vetiver fragrances deep dive video, go catch that as well after you finish watching Creed Wild Vetiver video review. Okay, on skin, more vetiver, less rose. Spicy, very earthy. Wow, so different from the strip. This is actually now a vetiver fragrance and it's not a rose fragrance. And all along I was saying on the strip, it's rosy. It was very rosy. I'm not sure why I'm getting a bit of a melon effect. I don't know why. That's turning me off a little bit. I'm not a big fan of melon in fragrances, but it's very minute. So it's interesting how on the strip, the rose was more dominant. On skin, the vetiver woods is more dominant, which is correct because this is, after all, called wild vetiver. It's not called wild rose. And all along, I thought it should have been called wild rose. So the rosiness is finally developing stronger now. It's kind of reversed. Sometimes when a fragrance is focused on one note, like this is called wild vetiver, when you spray it, it pretty much dominates, even though there's the top notes, the heart notes, and base notes. That's kind of what happens. And when it happened the other way around with it on the strip, I thought, wow, this is kind of crazy. But no, I am picking up the rose now. It's nicely blended. It's a green rose. It is definitely coming to mind. So the green is appropriate here. It's coming off green. It's coming off stem, like a stemminess, slightly fruity and a little citrusy and also spicy. We've got that Timur berry or Timur pepper and of course earthy. I'm not experiencing much of the amber or amber woods, but the vetiver has a certain grassiness about it. Yeah, it's more vetiver on skin for sure. I dig this one quite a bit. I'm not really loving the price tag. It's quite pricey. Really, really pricey. I mean, Creed prices have always been very, very expensive, but during these days of very expensive fragrances, their prices have gone up even further. Now it's finally blended beautifully. It's one fragrance, because before I was kind of like seeing or smelling different parts of the fragrance and I was smelling them separately, but now it's nicely blended. It's a rosy, grassy, earthy vetiver woody fragrance. Super, super gorgeous. Once again, very, very perfect for spring. And I think most importantly, perfect for summertime. I think this is going to be perfect. So let's pause the video here. I'll come back and finish off the video and let you know more about what I think about Wild Vetiver. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it on this side as well, just so that I have a couple of different reference points to talk to you guys. So this is going to be 3 hours approximately. But although I should say my deep dives are 3 hours long, but it really takes about 4 to 4.5 hours to shoot because I have to gather fragrances, bring them here, and then take them back and bring more. So just stay tuned. But again, once the video for Wild Vetiver airs, the deep dive video would have already aired. See you guys in a bit. Okay, guys, it has been around 3 hours. I finally shot my Vetiver Fragrances deep dive video, and I just smelled my arms. It's rosier than Vetiver, but it's a good rose. It's really, really great. So in the deep dive video, I did mention that this is reminding me of L'Ombre dans l'eau a little bit, and you can go catch that deep dive video because it's already aired. And the way I did it is I shot the intro of this video before I shot the deep dive video. Then I did the deep dive video and I featured Wild Vetiver in it. And then after I was done with the deep dive video, I came back around approximately 3 hours later and my arms smell like rose. And the rose is that dewy, fresh rose, super, super yummy. So honestly, this is leaning feminine. Now, if a guy doesn't like rose, they're going to probably immediately say this is feminine. But it was interesting when I tested it on the strip, it started off very rosy. When I started wearing it on skin, it was more vetiver. But now this is settled to 3 hours later into rose. But I feel like it's gotten woody. It's not as dewy, but still kind of a fresh dewy rose. This is a winner, but I think maybe misnamed. Well, noses are different. So you might pick up more vetiver than I do, and then it's kind of obvious because on strip it's more rose, on skin it started out more vetiver, then it became more rose. So noses are going to pick up differently, but I do think this is definitely a very rose-focused vetiver. There's not much spiciness left. It's quite smooth, a little creamy, but still very dewy rose. The price tag on this is also very, very expensive, but it's typical of Creed fragrances. $510 is a lot of money. Like some people pay $1,000 for rent. I don't know what rent goes in other cities, but it's a very, very expensive fragrance. So I think this is, I don't know how much of a hit it will be because, you know, people find ways of getting fragrances if they really love it, even though it's very expensive. So they'll start buying decants and things like that. And then this ends up at the discounters and then they'll eventually save up for it. But still, I think at the discounters, this can probably go down to around $200, $300. And then eventually, years later, you can get it probably for under $200. But I think it's a winner. It's a great scent. I think it's a bit misnamed. It's very rosy to me. I think the vetiver is strong on skin, but changes and becomes rose 3 hours in. So is it going to be more vetiver 6 hours in? It's also gotten quite faint, but I can still smell it. It's not light. It's not very light. I think this will go on to around 5.5 hours, maybe into 6.5 max. And you saw how many sprays I did on skin. Let's see this side. It's a bit greener on this side. Not as rosy, but still very rosy. Yeah. My conclusion is it's a winner. I really enjoy it. It's just way too overpriced. I would wear this in a heartbeat when it's warmer. That whole dewy rose effect is going to make a very refreshing wear. And I like those kind of fragrances when it's extremely hot outside. So definitely something I would put to use quite a bit. So that's my thoughts on Wild Vetiver from the House of Creed. What are your thoughts on it? Do let me know. Do add a comment below. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, do list below. Let me know. Do let me know if you are a fan of this or you're going to skip it because it's so expensive. I would love to find out. But also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click the bell icon, and I'm going to mention it here as well. We just announced ScentFest SF, and if you haven't gone over to the website yet and got your tickets, please do. We are having a fragrance festival here in June 26, 27, and 28. First of its kind, and we're bringing a lot of great brands here to promote their fragrances and exhibit with various niche offerings from artisan brands, indie houses, niche houses, and then we're also setting up some really nice interactive experiences within the facility, the venue of Fort Mason. And then there's also going to be some panels and talks as well. So a great time to come. It's going to be around a couple of other events nearby centered around fragrance and beauty. So this is one more event that you can participate in. So I have a link to Scentfest SF, and also please go watch the video. There's a video announcing Scentfest SF, and you can get more details there. But please definitely go check it out because we do have some early bird pricing currently. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. As I said, have a good one. Goodbye.